If you're 65 or older, or you're helping a parent manage their finances, there's something happening at your bank right now that most people have never heard of. Banks across the country have new authority, some of it just updated this year, to watch your account more closely, flag unusual activity, and in certain cases, actually pause a transaction before your money goes anywhere. Today I'm walking you through three things. First, what banks can now do when they suspect something's wrong with your account. Second, a simple document you can set up that costs nothing and protects you, but that a lot of people confuse with something else entirely. And third, something most seniors don't realize about who your bank is now allowed to call if they get worried about you. For years, if a scammer talked a senior into wiring money or draining a savings account, the bank's hands were mostly tied. Federal privacy law made it complicated for a teller to even mention their concerns to anyone else. That's changed. Under the Federal Senior Safe Act, along with updated interagency guidance that regulators reissued this year, banks and credit unions now have clear legal cover to train their staff to spot red flags of elder financial exploitation and to act on them. That includes reporting suspected abuse to Adult Protective Services, local law enforcement, or financial regulators without fear of being sued for breaking confidentiality rules. Say you walk into your branch and try to wire $15,000 to someone you've been talking to online for the past few weeks. A trained teller might ask a few extra questions. They might not process it right away. In some states, banks and credit unions are now permitted to place a short hold on a suspicious transaction, not indefinitely and not without reason, but long enough to give someone time to check whether this is legitimate or whether you're being targeted. I know that might sound frustrating if you're the one just trying to move your own money. But these holds exist because the numbers are staggering. Older Americans lose billions of dollars a year to fraud, and a huge share of it happens through simple bank transfers that nobody questioned until it was too late. Now, this doesn't mean every bank does this the same way. And it doesn't mean your bank is suddenly going to start interrogating you every time you withdraw cash. These programs vary by state and by institution. Some credit unions have had robust senior fraud protection for years. Others are still catching up. Banks are being encouraged, and in some states required, to build these safeguards in. So if your bank asks a few more questions than it used to, that's usually not bureaucracy for its own sake. That's a system designed to protect you. That brings me to the second thing you need to know, and this is the one I want you to actually act on this week if you haven't already. It's called a trusted contact. Most major banks and credit unions now offer this, and brokerage firms have been required to ask about it since 2018 under a securities industry rule. You give your bank the name and phone number of someone you trust, an adult child, a sibling, a close friend. That person cannot access your account. They cannot move your money, see your balance, or make any decisions for you. All they can do is get a phone call if the bank notices something unusual and can't reach you, or if they're worried about signs of confusion, cognitive decline, or possible exploitation. A trusted contact is not the same thing as a power of attorney. Power of attorney gives someone legal authority to act on your behalf financially. A trusted contact has zero authority over your money. It's purely a safety net, a name the bank can call if the alarm bells start ringing. You can set one up in about 5 minutes at most banks, usually just by asking a teller or filling out a short form. And you can change or remove that person anytime you want. If your bank has never asked you about this, ask them. It costs nothing, and it's one of the simplest protections available to you. Before I get to the third thing, and the one that tends to surprise people the most, let me just say, if you're finding this helpful, hitting like and subscribing genuinely helps me keep making videos like this that cut through the confusion around your money. Now let's keep going. They assume that because they haven't given anyone power of attorney, and because they haven't set up a trusted contact, that their bank simply can't say or do anything if something looks wrong. That's not true anymore. Under the updated interagency guidance from federal banking regulators, financial institutions can proactively report suspected exploitation even without your permission and even without a trusted contact on file. They can file what's called a suspicious activity report with federal authorities. They can, in many states, reach out to adult protective services on their own initiative. This is a meaningful shift from the old rules, where privacy law created real hesitation for banks to say anything at all. Now, I want to be fair here because this isn't only good news. There's a real exception worth knowing. These protections and reporting rules are not identical everywhere. Some states, like Virginia and Wisconsin, have passed their own detailed senior financial protection laws in just the past couple of years, giving banks even broader tools, including formal staff training requirements. Other states rely mostly on the federal framework, which is a bit looser, so the exact experience you'll have, how quickly your bank flags something, whether they can place a hold, who they're allowed to call, genuinely depends on where you live and which institution you use. If you want to know exactly what your bank does, the fastest way is simply to call them and ask directly what their elder fraud protection policy looks like. Most banks are happy to walk you through it, and frankly, asking that question is itself a smart move. Some seniors worry that if a bank flags their account, they'll lose access to their own money, or that a family member can now swoop in and take control just by claiming they're worried. That's not how this works. These holds are typically short, often just a few business days, and are meant to create a pause for verification, not to seize your assets. And a trusted contact, as I mentioned, has no power to touch your accounts. The system is built around notification and verification, not control. Understanding that distinction should ease a lot of the unease people feel when they hear the phrase new bank rules. If you receive Social Security and someone else manages those benefits for you, what's called a representative payee, often used when someone has a health condition that makes managing money difficult, your bank protections work differently. Banks can flag unusual activity on the account, but the primary oversight for a representative payee misusing your Social Security funds actually falls to the Social Security Administration, not your bank. If you or a loved one ever suspects that a representative payee is spending your benefits inappropriately, you need to contact the Social Security Administration directly. Your bank may notice odd withdrawal patterns and report them, but they are not the agency responsible for investigating misuse of federal benefit funds. Too many families assume the bank will catch this kind of thing on its own, and it's a gap that leaves real people vulnerable. If this applies to you or someone you love, that phone call to Social Security is worth making today, not someday. Banks now have real, legally protected tools to watch for and respond to signs of elder financial exploitation, including short transaction holds and voluntary reporting to authorities. You can set up a trusted contact in minutes, and it's one of the easiest, lowest-effort protections available to you. But remember, it gives someone a phone call, not access to your money. And if Social Security benefits are involved and a representative payee is managing them, oversight runs through the Social Security Administration, not your bank, so that's a separate call to make if something feels wrong. If there's one single takeaway from everything we covered today, the system is quietly getting better at protecting seniors, but it only works well if you understand how to use it. So here's your one action item for today. Call your bank or credit union, ask whether they offer a trusted contact program, and if they do, take the 5 minutes to set it up. It costs nothing, it puts no one in control of your money, and it's genuinely one of the simplest things you can do this week to protect yourself or someone you love. You've worked your whole life for what you have, and you deserve to feel confident and informed about how it's protected. I'll keep bringing you clear, honest breakdowns like this one, so you're never left guessing about what's really happening with your money. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video.